Welcome to a new episode of the Christie Taylor Show. I'm your host, Christie Taylor. Super excited to have you here. And I tell you, spring has truly sprung. And one of the things that I love about being in the South during this season is that between April and September, we fall in love with music all over again. And today I have a very special guest. And he comes from the Ville. That's what we call it here in Memphis, Nashville. Andrew Salgado, who has been signed with Synapse Publishing and Entertainment, LLC, since 2017, came to prominence winning a national singer-songwriting competition and has penned songs with legends such as Brian Wilson, Darryl Worley, and Kacey Musgraves. Now, he has toured with some of country music's biggest icons, such as Eli Young, Clint, Clack, and Toby Keith, and released several well-received indie albums and had his music featured in film and theater. Now, the Nashville-based recording artist with Chicago roots is releasing his third album, 86 Volume 2, Autumn Dawn, and that was released on April the 8th. Now, currently on a media tour for the new album. He was also featured, yes, for 3 years on the nationally aired PBS special, Songs at the Center, and has made appearances on WGN, ABC, and NBC. And I'm super excited to have Andrew with us today here on the Christie Taylor Show.
How
Wow.
are you?
I'm doing amazingly well. And to have somebody in Tennessee up the highway to talk about music during this fabulous time is something I'm looking forward to today. Now, Chicago roots, let's talk about those.
Sure. It's very cold.
That indeed. Born and raised in Chicago, I understand. How did you fall in love with music?
My dad was in a band, pretty much my whole life. And when I was about 13, I just begged him to go to band practice. And I just kind of forced my way into a 40-year-old band. And I just fell in love with it and stayed with it.
So, what did you start playing when you first moved into the music world? Were you a drummer? Were you a bassist?
I was just a roadie.
A roadie. Okay.
I carried their gear. I was there to help out. I would set up the mics and everything like that. And then very slowly, I started seeing opportunities to just fit in here. The drummer had a hard time singing and drumming at the same time, so I learned how to play drums for just 3 songs. I couldn't play anything else but those 3 songs. And then I learned how to play percussion and sing background vocals and everything. And then when I went to school, junior high and high school, I took band and choir so that I could do more stuff in my dad's band. I wasn't even doing it for any other reason.
Well, I'm glad to know that your dad had a big impact on you because I have been vibing out to your music. You all have to check out his website. He has plenty of great content there, as well as his YouTube channel. And I understand that this is your third indie album. But before we get to that, I want to talk about your move from Chicago to
Sure.
Nashville and what prompted that, and more specifically, your love of country music.
Sure. It was a lot cheaper than getting hotels, 3-4 times a month. I got to a point where I had done the math and I was like, this is easier to live here, than it is to come. But I mean, my roots in country music really come from my grandpa. He drove a truck for a living and he loved John Wayne. Like it was always on, which is why I know John Wayne dies in only 3 movies. You can
You know the trivia. You know the trivia.
If you tried to change the channel off of that, you might have gotten shot.
So he was a true John Wayne fanatic.
Big time.
And what was some of the music that you remember? John Wayne, of course, that means that you're going way back into when country was still country western.
Yeah.
And it began to move into the more mainstream. Who were some of the artists that really influenced you that wasn't John Wayne?
Yeah, when I got into junior high, it was a lot of Keith Urban. There's a lot of Keith Urban outside of country music too. It was Richard Marx and John Mayer. Those all were really kind of playing into it. Obviously Garth Brooks, even Faith Hill when I was younger.
I love
there was a 2000 to 2005 range where like almost everyone was inspiring me in some way in country music.
Andrew, I know that besides the music, you also have a strong love for sports.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Not an intelligent, thing for sports, but yeah, I love baseball. I've been playing it a lot longer than I should, and it's just something that really gives peace. I really did want to do something with baseball. That's why we kind of have the hat appearance. This is my little way of like still kind of having something with it. But yeah, I still watch it a tremendous amount. And during the pandemic, when there was nothing else going on, I actually did play in an ex-collegiate baseball league, which at the time sounded so fun, but what a stupid thing to do.
Why did you say that?
Because these are young kids they're in shape now, and I unfortunately needed to get in shape.
Hmm.
But it was a lot of fun. I remember when I was in that league, 1920, and people were giving me advice, and now I was older and I was giving people advice.
Wow. So, needing to say that you always had a love for America's greatest sport and
Mhm.
also in love with one of the greatest music forms that America has produced, in addition
Right.
to jazz and blues. But they're all cousins, they're all kissing cousins. How has baseball and country music really influenced your life as a man?
They're very similar. You
Hmm.
have to have a great team. You have to have a great manager. You have to believe in yourself. You have to have confidence without an ego, and you have to have drive. In baseball, you might have to wake up at 6 in the morning to, get your work in and practice. And music is really no different. You might not have to wake up at 6 every day. Depends on the
Right.
shows you're doing, right? But you still have to wake up and put in the work. You can't. One of the things I love about guitar is you can't be a good guitar player just picking it up one time. You have to truly devote playing to it, and it never really stops on trying to become better at it. Same with baseball. You might have hit 300 last year. This year nothing. You got to put the work in on a day-to-day basis.
Andrew, I really like that analogy about putting the work in. And you spoke about an instrument that I have a strong love for, which is guitar, acoustic guitar, more specifically. Piano, which you're sitting in front of, one of my favorite instruments. The
It's not
strings.
tuned though, so don't ask me to play it.
Okay, okay, I
It
won't.
hasn't
Okay,
been tuned for like a
I
year
was
and a
just,
half.
yeah, I was getting tempted. I was getting tempted. So,
I could see it. I could just feel it from across the room here.
yeah. So one of the things that I really love about the instrument, the guitar, in addition to the piano, is that it gives, as a vocalist, a space to really play. So I
Mhm.
understand that you are noted as a singer-songwriter. So once getting to Chicago, from Chicago to Nashville, realizing it's cheaper just to live here, how did you really navigate that? Because you were an outsider, and I'm from Tennessee, and I know sometimes it can be challenging working into the industry here, because it's like, you ain't from around here, son. You're not around here. So how did you really begin to navigate those Nashville musical streets?
You just being hungry, and just being polite, meeting people, asking, would you like to write? Is it okay if I play here? Can we do something on the road together? And just continuing to do that. And I think one of the things that I like about myself is that I don't know how to quit anything. um that's why I'm still playing baseball here and there, because I should have quit a long time ago. But when it comes to music, it's just something that I do on a day-to-day basis, whether there are 4 people at a show or 4,000. It doesn't really matter to me. It's always something that I just do. And I had watched an interview with Keith Urban, and he said someone had told him, "Oh, I tried the artist thing, and then I gave that up." And he said, "Well, if you're an artist, you always are. It's just who you are." And I think that's very true for myself too. So navigating Nashville, whether you're from the outside or not, it's very, very difficult, because it's a very difficult industry. So you have to just have that, once again, that day-to-day factor, just like in baseball, to continue to try and work hard. And I really do believe in the politeness aspect of it too.
Yeah, that takes you a long way. That's definitely so true. And being able to go to Nashville, carve out your own path, and begin to work with some of the icons of that amazing music form, how did that happen? Now, of course, beyond politeness. Now, we know politeness gets you so far, but to get in the
Right.
doors and in the studios is another thing. How did you begin to like really make yourself a part of the Nashville music scene?
I don't really know if I'm a part of the Nashville scene, but I know that I've been very fortunate to work with a lot of people that have helped me, and for just because they believed in something that I can do, that I believe that I can do as well. And so when you look at even just working with Darryl Worley and Jim Moose Brown, they saw something in me, and then we were able to make something work. I had won the Pepsi Southern Original that you had talked about, and then started working with someone named Randy Lovelady, who helped me get that first single and that first video, and everything just kind of it's kind of like walking upstairs. Every step gets you to the next one, but it might take time to get to some of those steps. And you might skip one or two because of somebody, but you still have to take almost all of them to kind of get where you want to go.
Wow. I like that. Like you said, number one, I like the fact that you brought up the competition again, because sometimes musicians feel like, oh, they don't want to go the competition route. Why did you choose to do so?
I didn't. My dad sent in a song, and then he was like, "You got selected for this semifinalist," and I was like, "Semifinalist for what?" Like,
Oh my God.
I don't know what's going on here. And then he explained it to me. And then I was still living in Chicago at that time. And
Mhm.
I didn't have enough money. So I drove all the way to Alabama. And then when the show was over, I drove all the way back.
Okay, that was commitment.
I've
Just
done
the
that.
drive, just the
I've done
drive.
that a lot more. I did it last week. We drove 3,500 miles in like 7 days for this press tour. So it's like, it's not
Wow.
something that I'm ever not willing to do. If you've got an
Mhm.
opportunity to go somewhere and, it makes sense and it fits to what you want to do, you have to find a way to make it work.
Wow, that means putting that, what they said, the pedal to the metal. That's an
Yes.
old saying right there.
We
Put
did, we did take a hybrid. Gas is just too expensive for
what
anything
you
more.
said.
Yeah.
See,
You got
okay,
to
there
get
you
that
go.
38 miles to the gallon on the highway if you're going to do it now.
Wow, indeed, indeed. Now, one of the things that I'm really glad to constantly hear is the impact your father
Mhm.
is having in your music career.
Yeah.
Did you have siblings who were also part of that cheerleading squad?
My family, my brother, my mother, and my dad couldn't be more supportive of everything that I do.
Mhm.
I'm the only one still doing music.
Wow.
But I mean, they're each really great at what they do. My mom has got more passion. She's the definition of a strong, independent woman. If she wants to do something, there's no way you can stop her. She's going to do it, and you can either just like go with it or not go with it. When she met my dad, there's a big story where she gave him three wrong numbers. She wanted nothing to do with him, and she would tell us when we were younger that she would go on dates with people, and if there was anything she didn't like, she would just get up and leave.
Ooh,
So,
she
so
was like,
yeah,
no need to get to dessert. No need.
no,
None. I've seen
no,
enough. I've heard enough. I'm
yeah.
good.
A lot of my strength comes from her. To be able to pick yourself up, and there are a lot of hard days in this industry, and no matter. I remember asking Darryl, since you brought him up, like, when does it get easier? And he's like, it never gets easier. You just learn how to navigate it better. And I'm glad I have that support system from them to let me do what I want to do. They've always done that, and then also just teaching me great life lessons.
I've been listening to some of your great life lessons, because one of the things that people have tapped you for is your songwriting ability. Can you talk about some of the work that you've done for others? And then I want to talk about some of the great music
Sure.
that I've been checking out.
Yeah, I mean, once again, it goes back to my dad. He worked for United Cerebral Palsy for such a long time that I got to see how he was helping people on
Mhm.
almost a day-to-day basis. And I remember in 2008 telling someone, as soon as I become famous, I'm going to help all these people. I'm going to help all these charities. I'm going to write all these checks. And he said, well, why do you have to wait till then? He said, you could help today. And I said, well, there's nothing I can do today. And he said, ask yourself one question: what can I do to help? And if you keep asking that question, you'll find solutions. And so I found out, I can go ask some other artists to donate some stuff. It's easy. I can come to a committee meeting. I can volunteer my time. I can play for free. I can donate some CD. And as I kept asking that question, the ball just kept rolling into helping whoever we can at any time.
Toby Keith, one of my favorites.
I
What
got
was
to
that?
pray with Toby. One of the coolest stories that I have, not only opening for him, um, and just watching a childhood hero, right? I mean, I I used to sing Should Have Been a Cowboy for just so long, and then watching them sing it. And I remember they put an X on the stage when we were doing sound check, and that was where Toby was going to stand. So I made sure to stand there like as much as I could. It's the dumbest thing I've ever done, but I made sure to stand there. And then they do this prayer, and I was just happy. I had just happened to stand there when the band was there, and Toby just went like this. And I remember praying.
Wow.
And I do believe in God. And I have this when, from when I was confirmed when I was 13. But I got to tell you, I didn't pray at all during that moment, because I was just so excited to have my arm like this, and I was just like, I'm praying with Toby Keith. Like, this has got to be the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah. It's good to know that in every music industry, we have people of faith, and that is so important to understand, God guiding us in our music and in our crafts and in our art. And of course, I know that one of the things that you have a strong passion for, in addition to faith, is love.
Yeah.
So let's talk about one of the songs that really touched me. And I think you've give me the title to the very first album that you did, your first indie album.
Absolutely everything.
Absolutely everything. And that was one of the songs that I came across, and I was like, ooh, I totally love that. What was the passion behind that, or the inspiration to write it?
I got to write that with a guy named Don Sampson and a guy named Jim Moose Brown. And I remember going into the co-write going, I really want a song that's about my everything. And I couldn't figure out anything else. I said, we need to figure that out, because I want something like that on this album. And I had that chord progression. And then Don Sampson came up with a bunch of ideas, and then Moose was just like, absolutely everything. And then that just rolled the ball down, and we all found a way to relate to it, and we just wrote it. And I remember Don Sampson was laying on the floor writing lyrics, and probably one of the best lyricists I've ever written with. And he just, and then he would just get up and he said it so poetic. You know how some people like do spoken word poetry? He said it so poetic that I was like, I don't even know if I can sing that. And then I put a melody to everything, and it was just beautiful. It's still one of my favorite songs today.
And one of the other songs that was on that album was about love will always find a way.
Right.
That was so melodic. That was beautiful. And of course, I know that you are pushing album number 3. But before we can get to album number 3, which is a sequel, I'm a movie buff, so it's like the sequel.
Me
so
too.
before we can get to the sequel, there was volume 1. Let's talk about Autumn, the inspiration of this particular series of music. Is it
like 86 volume 1 or 86 volume 2? Two different things.
Let's start with the original, and then we'll go to the sequel.
What we wanted to do was we wanted to let people know there was more music coming. And so I was born 86, 8 pounds, 6 ounces. So I went, we should just do 86. Now, I didn't know at that time. I didn't know to 86 something means to like throw it away, because everybody on that press tour was just like, so what do you like, tossing away or like getting rid of? And I was like, no, this is about my birthday. I don't know. I don't know how this got here. And so we did volume 1, and my label challenged me to write everything on my own, which was very scary, because everything was pretty much co-written prior to that. And I had been co-writing really since 2010 to 2017. And so when I went to write that record by myself, I realized that if I really want to answer these questions and I really want to dig deep into these topics, I have to pull from myself. It was like a large therapy session where I have to keep asking myself questions. And then the record came out, and we thought we were going to do the follow-up in 2020. And unfortunately, we've had to wait until 2022 to get the follow-up to that, kind of chapter into the next. And I'm just as huge of a movie buff as you are.
Now, which leads me to the title of the series, Autumn Dawn. Give me some backstory on Autumn Dawn.
I wrote pretty much the entire album in the fall, and was just at a really low point in my life. had broken up with someone I thought I was going to be with for a very long time. And even during that, it was like I could see the sunshine coming through, and it really was a fall morning. And Autumn Dawn fit that perfectly when I thought of it. Plus, it sounded very movie-ish.
Yeah,
And
you don't.
I love movies more than anything. Like, people always ask, like, what do I do outside of seeing my family and music and sports? I go see movies more than I should. Like, we released this album with a private event at an AMC, and we put my music videos and the brand new music video up on the screen, which was so cool. And then we showed people the behind the scenes from making the album. And then we
Wow.
watched The Lost City, which was actually a really good movie.
Yes, indeed. Wow, that was a really great marketing ploy. I like that
Yeah.
idea.
It's also a
Yeah.
little selfish, but yes.
Hey, it's about you. It's your world. We're just living in it. So
I
Autumn Dawn. Now, one of the things, because when I saw it, I thought of '86, the year.
Mhm.
So it took me back to my younger years. So
Yeah,
to know that it had to do with your birth date and your
right,
birth weight,
right.
I know your mom probably said, "That thank you, son. Thank you for reminding me."
Yeah, she probably doesn't want me to say that, but it was weird that there was a lot of 8s and 6s on that day.
Yes, indeed, indeed. Now, of course, with having to wait past 2020 to
Right.
do volume 2, what had transitioned or transpired in you during that time, artistically speaking?
What was nice is I had the songs out of the breakup,
Okay.
and then because of the pandemic, more of that sunshine and kind of new love and everything else kind of fit into it. And then it really was a better collection of kind of happy and sad. So in a way, we kind of got really lucky with it. I was able to really dive deeper into the whole process of making the album. We were able to use a studio at a really really nice location where no one was coming to knock on the door. We were able to work on it for a very long time. So there was, with everything in life, there was good and bad, right? We had to wait a lot longer, but I'm kind of glad we really did that because I think we have a better product. But obviously, we didn't want to wait that long. It was a very, very difficult process for me because every time I had gotten back in shape a little bit and was like geared up to go, something would happen that'd be like, well, there's a new wave and there's this and that, and they're bringing back masks and all this other stuff. And then I'd find myself, eating like everybody else and, putting
Yeah.
weight back on in this kind of up and down cycle over the last 2.5 years.
Wow. One of the songs that you just released a new music video
Hmm.
for in promotion of Autumn Dawn Volume 2 or 86 Volume 2. I got
Hmm.
to make sure I put the
That's
86.
okay.
It's called I Just Want to Dance. Can you
Yeah.
set that up for us? I want to give a sneak peek of
Sure. It's the story of my parents. So they were
that.
they were both professional dancers, and like I said, my mom had given my dad some wrong numbers. She just really wanted to dance with him. She didn't
Mm.
want to go out and hang out or anything else. Just like, we can dance, and that's it. I just want to dance. And I had started to write that song in like 2017, but never really like finished it. And then because of the pandemic,
Mhm.
I was able to revisit it in a happier state and
Yeah.
go, oh, this is how it should go. And it's one of the songs that I got to produce myself on the album, and I was just really happy on how the beat that I made, the guitar stuff, everything like that just kind of fit in.
Well, let's check it out. Here it is. I Just Want to Dance.
Every guy in here is looking for the same thing. Red lipstick and lonely eyes. But when I look at you, I see something when you move. Your mind ain't thinking about tonight. And I don't want to take you home, and I definitely don't want to drink alone. And you look like you could use a friend. And I don't want to take the spot. And baby, I promise I won't mess with your heart. I just wanna dance with you. I just wanna dance with you. We can start slow, we can go fast. Do you two-step or do you jive? And if I have to teach you, I don't mind at all tonight. We got hours of time. And I don't want to take you home, and I definitely don't want to drink alone. And you look like you could use a friend. And I don't want to take this far, and baby, I promise I won't mess with your heart. I just want to dance with you. I just want to dance with you. And I don't want to take you home, and I definitely don't want to drink alone. And you look like you could use a friend. And I don't want to take this far, and baby, I promise I won't mess with your heart. I just want to dance with you. I just want to dance with you. I just want to dance. I just want to dance. Oh.
I tell you, I love it. Look at you.
It's so weird to watch yourself.
And to know that that's based on your mother and father's love relationship. That's really, it just endears me even more to that song.
Awesome.
And of course, wow with the optics and the wow.
We used the green screen for the first time, and I felt like we really used it up when we put all those backgrounds in. We got our fill.
Wow. Of course, I know you are on the road, and if you could, where are you going to be over the next couple of weeks? And maybe those who are watching could check you out. And of course, want to make sure we push them to your website to learn more about you and check out more of the new Autumn Dawn Volume 2. So you're on the road.
Right. We're going to be in Chicago on the 16th. We're going to be in San Diego, California on the 19th. And then we're going to be in Minnesota on the 23rd. And then we're doing a whole bunch on the East Coast in May and Texas in May too. And then there's talk of doing even more in June, July, and August, which is just great.
I love it. I love it. It's good to be back on the road again. I know you, even though you're taking those 35-hour trips, but
yeah, but you know, I love meeting people, and I love talking, to people. One of the people that came out to our Michigan City show said she loved grunge music, and now she loves grunge music and my music. And I said, that's the first time I've heard anything like that.
Oh, that's super cool. That's super cool. You have won over a fan. And for those who want to learn more about him, be sure to check him out on his social media, Facebook and Instagram, his first and last name. Also, his website. Be sure to do just that. Well, thank you so much, Andrew. This has been good to talk to somebody up the highway in Nashville about the music that we love. And I tell you, this has been really great. And thanks, everybody, for checking us out. Be sure to stay tuned. Coming up next, Tina Tilton's The Blend.